the moon and let me kick its fucking ass. Let me show you what I learned in my moon jujitsu class. In other words, fuck the moon. In other words, please destroy it.
Hey, you guys like Metroidvanias? I bet you do. What's there not to like? Dense, intricate maps full of secrets just waiting to be discovered as you uncover more and more nooks and crannies with your rapidly expanding arsenal of abilities that opens up more paths, making you realize exactly how big the map is. It's a magical experience and one that makes you appreciate the quality of the game's design in every single moment of your play. So, what would happen if you took this concept and stripped it of the mechanical side of the progression, giving the player a big, open world full of secrets tucked away in various nooks and crannies, where the only ability that they need to acquire to progress is knowledge of where to look and how to get there? The answer to that question is one of the best games to have come out in 2019, if not of all time, Outer Wilds. As you can probably guess, the nature of this game makes it very difficult to talk about specifics without spoiling anything, so I'll try to keep it broad, vague, and not discuss or show any specific puzzles or solutions to them. Spoilers for the game's start though, but you know how it is with discussions and blank slates. Outer Wilds takes place in a miniature solar system in which you can walk from one pole of the planet to the other in 2 minutes. You have been chosen by the people of Timber Hearth to be the next pilot on their space program. To say that these people never developed OSHA regulations is an understatement. Look at this, they made a spaceship out of wood. These are my people, and I feel immediate kinship.
If it's got wings, I can crash it.
Not to be confused with the other Outer game that also takes place in space and came out the same year, and that I also covered this year. It's wild how similar the titles are considering how different the works are on pretty much every level. While one is incredibly cynical about our venture into space, the other is incredibly hopeful. Maybe because it decided to use weird foreign aliens as the player character species and not humans. The Harfians are the only space-capable race in the solar system, but that wasn't always the case. You know that the system was previously inhabited by the Nomai. Their structures and statues are all over the place, including a museum on Timber Hearth. You get a translator, a camera/drone, a signal scope, which is pretty much just a directional microphone, a flashlight, and off you go. As you visit different planets in the system, you get to play an archaeologist and figure out exactly what happened to the Nomai and... Say, was the sun always this big? Alright, new plan. Figure out why the sun is going supernova, stop it, and then figure out exactly what happened to the Nomai. Luckily, the strange statue in the museum seemed to have jolted your memories back a bit, so now you can figure out how exactly to accomplish that. You have 22 minutes. Move your ass. When describing the game like that, it might seem like a walking simulator that couldn't even afford audio logs showing everything in text. But it is anything but, because the developers clearly spent time and resources to make this world reactive. Every planet has physics-based gimmick that makes exploring the globe unique. Like 2 of them are orbiting each other and sand moves between them like they're a gigantic hourglass. Or another planet where gigantic cyclones move around its surface and throw islands up into the air. Each gimmick needs to be explored and applied creatively to find more and more information. You need to account for time, space, air supply, gravity, fuel reserves, and even movement speed of your ship at times to get down to the bottom of every single detail of this world. The best part about the game is the fact that your progression is never behind a wall, because you need to find an item or flip a switch that turns something on another planet or whatever. The game perfectly emulates the feeling of scientific discovery. All the pieces are there from the very beginning, you just need a clue on how to look at them to find the solution. Sometimes a bit of information lets you find something that just got filtered out by your peripheral vision before. Or maybe you found that out yourself through inquisitiveness and experimentation. The game never stops you to tell you, hey, I recognize you're smart, but you need to flip a trigger in a cutscene before you can do that, or anything like it. Which really tells you something about how confident the developers are in their puzzle and world design. Which is honestly commendable because, as far as I can tell, they're all completely original and based on the physics engine of the game. No Towers of Hanoi or slider puzzles or fucking trolley problems or whatever. You might stumble upon a solution to a question you haven't asked yet and only connect the pieces much later, which is excellent. It's chaotic, confusing and extremely rewarding. The game even uses the same mind map system as Pathologic 2 to track what information you have access to, so we know it's a good game. There's really not much I can say about the game, honestly. I'm kinda out of my depth here due to how mechanics heavy and text light the overall product is. It's a story told entirely through the player, all the little moments of awe and eureka. I could hear the puzzle pieces clicking into place as I played the game on stream, and that's honestly a magical feeling. It reminded me why I loved buying the little booklets with puzzles and reading the one-page detective stories in Donald Duck as a kid, before I realized human ingenuity is a limited resource and the puzzles repeat with details changed up a bit. But this game made me feel like a child again. And it's such an amazing feeling, especially as I know none of this could be replicated in print or film, fully relying on the interactive aspect of video games as a medium. Which I think fuels the core thematic point of Outer Wilds, the wonder of scientific discovery. We've had our share of nihilistic garbage spawned by the expansion of our knowledge about the state of the universe. The universe doesn't care, we are at the center of all creation, there is no intrinsic purpose to being, there is just a cold void out there. We've all heard that song, rolled our eyes and changed the station. Because really, if you consider the fact that not everything revolves around you depressing, I think you might want to consider megalomania as the reason behind your sour mood. You could apply all of these talking points to the space of Outer Wilds as well. The solar system does not care for you. The sun is gonna explode after the time is over, and you only get to learn why that is happening because you got lucky with a piece of ancient technology. Your hope is man-made, or rather no man-made, it's not some natural occurrence. There is no clear path guiding you to your goal either. You get a problem and you need to find a solution, that's it. The Thematic journal is a perfect way of portraying that, not showing a chronological list of the information you found, but rather a web of pieces that get more and more connected as you learn more about the world. And your species isn't even the first to discover all that, the Nomai were way more advanced than Herthians. But it's still beautiful, wondrous even. Each planet in this small solar system is an amazing little ball of secrets waiting to be understood. Even if some of them are frankly terrifying. It's just a few pockets of matter in a cold void that expands infinitely, and you can fly off into the distance ad infinitum, never finding another solar system due to the distance that separates the stars. But it also makes these tiny wonders stand out so much more and make you appreciate that they're there. I've never been a fan of St. Augustine's theorem that evil exists to make us appreciate what is good in the world, but I am willing to say that nothingness makes us appreciate matter, so maybe he was onto something. The journey through the void makes me appreciate the destination being full of wonders. Maybe that's why open world games are inherently appealing to a lot of people, but AAA game devs missed the memo and just stretched the pockets of wonder thin through the nothing. But I digress. The last point I want to make, the point I think the game makes, is that even if the universe is uncaring, the people are not. The world is full of others who want to help you discover more about it and expand your understanding of it, both your peers and those long gone who left their discoveries for others to find. You do need to find them, but they are out there. Even if you are a complete stranger from another species and time, you can learn from these discoveries of others. Not to mention you can learn about them as people, even if it's just a small glimpse into their lives. No amount of knowledge is too small to be worth preserving. Every bit of our lives is important, as they serve as another piece of information that lets us, and people who succeed us, understand more about the world at large. In that, I think Outer Wilds is incredibly hopeful. So if you want to play a Metroidvania that has a tone that is at a stark contrast to the currently popular Dark Souls-inspired Doom and Gloom, please give Outer Wilds a try. I'm pretty sure it sold well, but it could use more discussion and representation because it really deserves it. Thanks for watching. My videos are made possible thanks to my wonderful Patreon supporters, now visible on screen. Shoutouts to the new blood in the fold, Jared. I'm pretty sure I won't make any more videos in this year. See you in 2021. I hope to make it a bit more punk. Plus, maybe clean up my script backlog a bit because holy shit, I started a lot of them. Happy New Year!